everybody, welcome back to Vile Motorsports. Today we're getting into something particularly interesting. Our cameraman Alan, as you guys know, is an Acura dude. So we got the TLX in the shop today and we are going to be doing a downpipe. What's something really cool about this downpipe is it's sort of a prototype part and the manufacturer really doesn't want us to disclose that they made it for legal reasons that we'll get into later. But it's a beautiful part, come check it out. Like, look at this, you guys. This is just beautiful. All custom welded, hand welded. These welds look gorgeous. No boogers here. It's really cool. They put standoffs here where you can mount the factory heat shield around this. I was thinking when we uninstalled the factory one that we just wouldn't use that, but they put a location for you can reinstall it, and that's pretty thoughtful. So from what it looks like, I'm not too familiar with these cars, but it's a car, so we'll figure it out. From what it looks like is we got our O2 sensor coming into the top right here, and in order to access our bolts or hardware that are going to allow us to be able to disconnect the downpipe from the turbo, we're going to have to remove this heat shielding first. And it looks like they've put it together in a way to where this O2 sensor is going to have to come out first before the heat shielding is removed. So let's get into that. Okay, so before we get too much further into this video, let's make a disclaimer. When removing and replacing hardware on your car, make sure you use the right size socket. I thought this was a 13 because most BMWs are 13. It just so happens to be a 12, so here I am prying it out of a vise. Don't be like me. It needs a smaller nut. Said no girl ever. Looks like once you get these started, they can kind of come out by hand on the top. Just make sure you get everything. It looks like there's two on the top here from what I can see so far, and one on the bottom here and one on the side right here. So because of the shape of the heat shield, we found it actually easier to disconnect the intake from this particular fitting, make a little bit of space and slide it out this way. And that's going to give you access to the bolts, 14mm, that are holding on the downpipe to the turbo. When you're dealing with the bolts that are holding the downpipe to the turbo, you're going to want to lubricate it up with something, WD-40, PB Blaster, whatever you have laying around. These bolts get really hot. And they cool down and they're constantly going through heat expansion, and what happens is they kind of corrode and they just get really tight. So we're just going to help motivate them to break free a little bit so that we don't break them trying to get them out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break all these loose first by hand, just to make sure I don't break them. And then I'll come in here with an electric gun and finish them off. Okay, so now that we have the set of nuts and bolts removed that hold the downpipe to this turbo, what we're gonna need to do now is let free the secondary O2 sensor down there. We're gonna be dropping it out with the downpipe and then removing it after the downpipe's out. So what you wanna do is unplug it, and then there's a couple plastic fasteners here and here you'll wanna unclip from the brackets, and then you'll be free. All right, so after we've removed all the hardware that we've needed to remove from the top in order to free it up from the turbo, we gotta work on the bottom side. If you look here, there's these two little ear brackets that come off of what I imagine is the transmission of this car, and it looks like it's being held in by the downpipe here. So what I did first was I loosened this. Now I'm gonna move back here, loosen this support bracket so that I can drop this free, and then we'll take these two top side bolts out and we'll be able to free the downpipe. Oh. Okay, so once we have the downpipe out, we actually had to pull it out through the top. With the heat shield on it already attached, there just really wasn't any physical way to get it out through the bottom. So what we did is we just finished disconnecting this, moved this out of the way enough, and got it out. One tip you're gonna wanna keep in mind is when you're pulling this out of the top, you're gonna wanna rotate it while it's in the car to where the heat shield is missing towards the front of the car. And that's gonna allow you to get it past this hood latch. Yeah, there it is. Let's put the new part in. Okay, so once we have the heat shielding and the O2 sensor, secondary O2 sensor successfully transferred over to the new pipe, we're gonna go ahead and slide it in through the top. Remember, when this is properly installed, the heat shield is facing towards the front of the car. Since we've lost a lot of mass because there's no catalytic converter in here, we'll be able to probably just slide it in the way it needs to go without twisting it around. So. All right, you guys, once everything's wrapped up top, we can move along to the bottom. You can see right here, we just put back on all the OEM brackets and everything bolted up fine. We did make sure to put a brand new seal in between the turbo back exhaust system and the downpipe itself. So that was renewed. Now what we can do is finish up the top. I left the top O2 sensor for last because we had to do a little finessing with the heat shield. Not everything wants to match up right just because of the dimensions of things. So now that we're done on the bottom, we're gonna drop the car, wrap it up on the top, and see what it sounds like. Kenny's making me fucking shy, man. I'm just like... All right, you guys, and that wraps it up for the downpipe install on this Acura TLX. Some hang-ups we ran into, since these are hard-mounted parts and it's all nuts and bolts that literally hold everything together instead of like V-collars and sleeves like on a BMW, fitment is sort of subjective and it kind of really depends on the manufacturer. We ran into some funny things here with the heat shielding. The OEM design just allowed more space for that to fit properly, whereas this one didn't. So we kind of rocked with it, we improvised, we did what we had to do, but everything's back on, everything's bolted up, and everything's sounding really good. As you guys can tell, the sound is a little bit more tame from something that you would maybe get from like a BMW, like a S55 or an S58 downpipe. But I mean, it's expected. It's a four-cylinder motor. It's got a little turbo in it, but it sounds good nonetheless. Yeah.